Welcome back to the 6 o'clock show. My next guest this evening is well known in comedy circles, both here and abroad, performing in front of packed out audiences wherever he goes. And he's on the sofa this evening. Please welcome Danny O Brien back to the 6 o'clock show.
Thank you.
We were just chatting to John Creedon there in part one about his musical ability. What do you like with a guitar, piano, bowron? You've seen the way I play it.
I'm so talentless musically. I've got a couple of cousins who are absolutely amazing professional musicians. I have zero musical ability whatsoever. I think I can play the first couple of chords of like a Nirvana song or Smashing Pumpkins 1979. I think that's the extent of it. Like,
wow.
Maybe play a little bit of tabla at a house party.
Well, listen, you don't have to go. You do stand up and you do it pretty well. The last time you were here with us, was this like the last year? Was it last year?
It was, yeah. I think I was, I'd just come back from Kilimanjaro.
Well, there we are. And you brought your latest show to Edinburgh. Has that show changed since then?
It has massively. So even in Edinburgh, it's a little bit shorter than the tour. It's about an hour.
Yeah.
And the show is about obviously climbing Kilimanjaro. It's also about me going after a scammer. So I went after a scammer in the UK. I went through 3 different sets of police in 3 different countries.
Right.
So the show kind of travels that journey as well.
What did they scam you out of?
Accommodation fraud.
Right.
£2,000 British pounds.
What's about 2,000, maybe 300 euro?
Yeah, exactly.
Did you get the money back?
Absolutely not. And then I had to rent somewhere else last minute as well, which was obviously a nightmare. But the show kind of follows that journey and stuff. And it's probably the best show of revenge you will ever see in your life. So if anyone's into that, that's definitely something to check out.
Scammers, anytime I get a message or an email from a bank, I'm always terrified. And also
083 on post.
But also, Conor Pope would fill you a bit of doom with stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm going to struggle to look him in the face after this now because I've been scammed.
We had Shane Daniel Byrne on the show just recently, and he said when you go to Edinburgh with your show, you need to have the name of that show at least a year in advance. Now, lots of pressure there, especially when it comes to picking a good name for the show. Yeah,
do you know what's funny? I actually got my Fringe registration today because I had to register my show for this year, even though I haven't written the show yet.
Fringe registration. It sounds like a hairdresser.
I know, doesn't it?
Doesn't it?
So my new show is actually called Adulting Hard. So it's called Danny O Brien Adulting Hard because I'm on my 2nd mortgage approval. I'm trying to buy a house at the moment as a self-employed mouth clown, which is harder than climbing.
High five, I hear that. I'm in the same position.
Harder than any mountain I've ever climbed in my life. But listen, you can only do what you can do, you know?
When audiences do come to see your show, what can they expect?
This show is action-packed. It started off at about an hour long at the Edinburgh Fringe. It's now running into about an hour and a half. And I'm absolutely loving it now, really into the thick of the show itself. So it's been running since January. It was running till May. It's now getting extended until October and November. It's even going to go back to Newfoundland, which is where the show kind of began when I was writing it. So it's extending and extending. So I'm really excited.
So when you show like that, for example, say it's supposed to end in the May, and then you extend it through to the October, November. What's that feeling like?
It's like being insane because I will have a different show at the Edinburgh Fringe in August, which is a completely different hour show, while simultaneously be touring another show. So I have 2 different shows in my head, and I try my best to not get the 2 of them mixed up.
Yeah, you could get your content mixed up.
It's like the mental equivalent of doing the square with one hand, circle with the other.
I can't do that.
I mean, either.
And congrats are in order. A round of applause here, because last weekend you marked 15 years in comedy.
I know, I could have been a doctor twice. Definitely
could have been. Talk to us about your very first show, because marking 15 years, especially with the pandemic, it's an amazing milestone. And what was your first show like? My first show was absolutely nerve-wracking for me. It was actually in Doyle's pub just on Fleet Street in a little room upstairs. And every time I drive past it, I actually get a little kind of pang of PTSD. And you could now, I think I have a DVD that'll tell you how long ago it was of that actual 7 minutes set that I did. You could not pay me to watch that. I'm going to put it in like a time capsule or something. But I just think about it. I think how grateful I am as well, because it was just something I just wanted to do it once. I never thought in a million years that 15 years later it'd be my career. So I'm always very grateful for it as well. And it's such a journey and so different. The 15 years have flown, but they feel like forever at the same time. Did you ever have a plan B or a plan C? Say it didn't work. Say you got 2 or 3 years out of it. Yeah. What would you have been doing then for the last 12 years? I used to be a social care worker and I used to work in the homeless and addiction services, and that's something that I kind of still do. So I actually do comedy workshops in secondary schools. I've done work with the prison service, and I do stand-up to recovery workshops. So all that social care that I did actually wasn't lost. So maybe if comedy wrapped up, I could end up doing some kind of workshops. Also, I was doing my research today, and you take the preparation for your shows Very seriously. Like, you're committed.
I live it. I try to live it. Like, I did 100 days off the booze when I was getting ready to write this show. So I'm halfway through doing that again because I thought it would be kind of hypocritical to, you know, be drinking and stuff if I'm doing a show about giving up drinks. So I'm halfway through another 100 days. I did keto for the month of January to get match fit.
Talk to us about keto, the diet. What does that entail?
It is basically no carbs, no sugar, no milk, no crack. You can't have cheese though.
Nice.
Yeah, but then I was eating too many Baby Bell, and my gym trainer in Body Rock in Sandy Mount, he was giving out to me because my cholesterol was going up. But I lost about nearly 9 kilos in 4 weeks.
That may work for you, but obviously not everyone. But well done. Well done with the 100 days.
Yeah.
Did you end up then missing it at all after your 100 days?
I didn't, and this is the second time. I think people say this as well when they have kids, like the second one is easier, and it's absolutely the truth for when you're giving up alcohol. And this is why I love the show. Lots of people who don't drink have been coming to this show as well, and I'm involved in a few men's hiking groups and stuff that kind of support men's mental health. So a lot of people don't drink or they're in recovery. So I always encourage people who don't drink, if you want to come and have a really good night out without being surrounded by pints and shots and all that crack, comedy is the perfect one, and this show is definitely the perfect one.
You and I have a lot in common.
We do.
We like to look nice and bronzed.
Yeah.
We met earlier in the corridor. You were like, you got to slap that bronzer on.
Like, give me the BD.
Give me the BD, absolutely. We like to travel.
Yeah.
We like a late checkout out of a hotel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, what are your honest thoughts on this? Because I'm with you.
Yeah.
It's also quite expensive.
I know. Do you know what? Like, because I was in Prague in January doing shows, and you forget, you get the early flight in, you get the red eye, which should be illegal, or they should pay you to get those early flights.
It's true.
You get there at 9 a.m, and then you've got like 7 hours to kill, and then, or you check out early, and then you've got all day, and you're just going around with your bag like Dora the Explorer. And I'm like, it should be a mandatory option to get a late checkout. You know what I mean? I nearly, or sometimes book an extra day and then just disappear mysteriously.
There's always a late fee, and sometimes it's as much as actually booking the room for an extra full night.
Yeah, I'll clean the room. I'll change the sheets for you. I'll clean the bathroom. I'll do everything for you.
Listen, you're a busy man. You're always on the go. Is it true your poor, unfortunate mother is always left in the dark? She's no idea, Danny, where you are and what you're doing.
I love when she sends me a message if I do go off the grid sometimes. I was in Vietnam in November and I didn't have any internet, and she'd message me going, just checking in, you're alive, which is like the Irish mother kind of passive aggressive, contact me. She knows what I'm doing because she follows my Instagram and stuff like that as well. But if I was out for dinner recently and she rings me the next day and she's like, who you in 6 by Nico with? And I don't tell her because she goes nuts when you don't tell her. Like withholding information from an Irish mother about your whereabouts. If you need a crime solved, tell them that their son is involved. It'll be solved.
It seems like your mother comes with receipts. Does she know where you are tonight? You're live on the telly. She actually has to help me with my taxes sometimes. Wow. I remember doing my taxes when I was trying to get a mortgage, and she was just judging me for all of my purchases, and she goes, you're spending a lot of money on chicken wings. Oh, nice. She cares. And finally, talk to us about the Big Night Out festival you're involved with.
Big Night Out actually started as we were coming out of the pandemic because we were so in need of live entertainment and stuff. So myself and Elena Gabrielle, phenomenal act from Australia who's based in Berlin. She's on her tour, I'm on my tour, but we're taking a break in between our tours to do this massive festival all over Europe. We're going to Tallinn, we're going to Riga, we're going to Vienna. Wow. That's selling out, and it's basically stand-up comedy, live music. We have a DJ, we have local cabaret performers. It's an absolute belter. We've done it in Dubai and Begettigans. We've sold out in Prague, Zurich. We did one in Dublin. So we have about 9 of them now in March and April. So that's going to be something to look forward to.
Do you ever get sick of the travelling, or you're just so used to it?
I'm kind of used to it now at this stage. I'm not going to be able to do it forever. I reckon I might have another decade in me of this. A decade of early flights.
Time will tell. Yeah. Danny O Brien, thank you so much for joining us here on 6. Danny's tour, Kilimanjaro, is running now with dates across Ireland, including the Civic Theatre in Tallaght tomorrow. For more info on tickets, visit DannyOBrien.com.